Hello and welcome to 30 Days of Hoya. Today we will take a look at Hoya pauciflora. This plant is native to South and Southeast Asia. I think it was discovered in Myanmar, and then I think it was also later seen in India. I'm not quite sure on that, but it was definitely discovered in Myanmar. You can see that some of the leaves are lighter on this one, and that's because this one was also part of my let's see if I can grow Hoyas outside experiment. It failed. So the leaves, some of the leaves are darker green, but you can see these are quite light green. They appear a bit yellowish in the photo, but in real life they are light green with just a bit of red spotting. So that means it received too much sun. It was under the porch, but it really did not enjoy that so much. So I brought it back in and just took a nice shower because it did have a bit of spiders, not spider mites, but it was dry outside. So now it took a nice shower and is ready for the video. When it comes to light, I would put this in bright indirect light. As you can see, if you put it in too bright light, the leaves will turn pale or lime green. So I will try growing it now in my northwest facing window, and I will just put a small LED light above my hanging Hoyas to see if that will help. But most of it will be in the northwest facing window. And I do think that light will be good for this one. We will see. Of course, I will let you know. This Hoya is a very good grower. I took several cuttings from this plant as well, and it pushed out this new vine here, and we're just waiting to get some leaves there. I received this plant again as a division last year. I think it was in October. It was a bit larger. Again, I took cuttings to gift to my friend, and after I cut it, it did bush out a bit. So the lighter foliage that you can see, that's the new growth. So I think the new vines will come from the nodes like that. In terms of watering, I never really had any issue with this plant. If I underwater it a bit, I don't see that the leaves will fall off really. I typically don't overwater my plants either. I would say I water this one every 10 days or so, sometimes a little bit more, and the plant is completely fine. The growth is okay, and it doesn't lose any leaves. It also just received water now because it was outside, and it's in a very airy mix of bark, perlite, some leca, cocoa peat, and general potting mix. The flower on this Hoya is very nice. It is a white flower with a red center. I'm not sure if the flower has any scent. I do think I read somewhere that it has that springy smell to it, so that fresh smell. I will let you know. I also read that this plant needs cooler temperatures to grow. I don't think that's necessarily true if you get it with peduncles, because I know that my friend has been able to bloom this in regular household temperatures, but she received it with peduncles, so maybe that helps a bit. Mine unfortunately didn't come with any peduncles, but I do hope it grows some, and then we will see if it will bloom. So maybe it will need cooler temperatures to form the peduncles, but then later on maybe the cooler temperatures are not so necessary. I fertilize this every time I water, and then in winter I use a milder dosage of fertilizer. I either use orchid fertilizer or I use a seaweed fertilizer, and I really hadn't had any issues with those, and I had the plants react to them very well. This plant, for me, it hasn't been really difficult. I'm still unsure if I like the way it looks. Sometimes I like the foliage, like today I really enjoy the way this looks, but sometimes I take a look at it and I'm not a fan of it, and I just really like the way the flower looks. Today it seems that I like this plant. We will see what will be tomorrow. It's not a difficult plant to get. Once again, it's becoming more and more available, as well as Hoya linearis, and you can find it in a garden center from time to time. And I think this really makes a nice hanging basket plant. I don't really see this on a trellis, and I think that the way it grows, it just, to me, it indicates it's a nice hanging basket plant. So if you're a beginner, I would definitely recommend this Hoya. It really isn't that difficult to grow. I'm not sure about the flowers. I do hope I will get some this year, and then I will let you know if it's easy to flower or not. But other than that, it hasn't been a really challenging plant at all, and it seems that it can take some neglect. Thank you for watching. This was Hoya pauciflora, and I will see you in our next 30 Days of Hoya.